So let's talk about how to use Achieve 3000 to become a better reader. I mean, let's face it, there's a right way and a wrong way to get through your articles. This program is pretty good, but you're only going to get out of it what you put into it. If you're just clicking through things to get them done, it's not going to do you any good. So let's start our lesson. First, I have a poll question to answer. And as I read this poll question, I'm going to agree with it. I also need to explain why I agreed or disagreed. Watch how fast I can type. This is really important. Make sure you put some thought into that and you give a good reason written in complete sentences, capitalization, all of those very important things to your writing. Then click Submit. Now things are going to get really serious. As we move on into our article, your vocabulary words may pop up in a pop-up screen up on top, but if they don't, they're right over here on the side. Pay attention to these vocabulary words. They're words that you may not know. If you just ignore them or click them away, you're not likely to understand what you're reading. Take the time to read through the vocabulary words and their definitions. Click this little play button so you can hear it. Okay, let me stop that. Sometimes you actually do know the word, you're just not good at reading it. So clicking that play button is really important, and then you're like, oh, I know that word. But make sure you do that. Make sure you have headphones so that you can click play and not have everybody hear what you're listening to. If you still don't understand the word, ask questions, or if you come to any other words while you're reading that you don't understand, make sure you ask. If a teacher or an aide isn't around to ask your question to, look it up on dictionary.com. You're on a computer, for crying out loud. Look up words and make sure that you understand what they mean. So once you've looked at your vocabulary, you should read the article. I know this sounds obvious, but some students just glance over the article and then go right on to their activity questions. If you do that, the questions will just show how good you are at guessing, and guessing is not going to get you very far in life. Becoming a better reader will. You won't become a better reader unless you actually read. Listen while you read as well. Research shows that you'll stay more focused on what you're reading and understand it better if it's entering your brain through your ears as well as your eyes. Some of you have a play button here at the top of your article, and if you do, use it. But don't just listen, read along, follow along with the words as you're hearing the article read. If you don't have a play button up here, it's because you're a strong enough reader that you shouldn't need someone else to read it to you. That is a good thing. However, you can still benefit from hearing the article by whisper reading. This means that you very quietly read out loud, which allows you to hear it as you're reading it. You'll hear it, you'll see it, and it'll help you stay way more focused and understand what you're reading. Even as an adult and a pretty good reader myself, I still do this when I really need to concentrate on something that's hard to understand. Also, think about what you're reading. As you're reading, think about, have you ever experienced anything related to this article before? Think about that poll question you answered. Are you still agreeing with it, or are you changing your mind? Because you know you're going to get another chance to answer that. Also, these reading connections, this little circle under each paragraph, if you open that up and you click on any of these areas, but I really recommend setting the purpose. You can type some thoughts into this box as you're reading to help you remember things. And if you type it in the setting the purpose box, it'll show up on your thought question. So that might help you remember some things you wanted to remember from the article when you're doing your writing later. Once you've really read the article, giving it your full attention, it's time to move on to those activity questions. You'll do that with a button at the bottom, but I'm going to click activity. Now, as you're answering these questions, do your very best on the first answer. This is the best measure of what you really understand from your reading. Carefully whisper read the question so you can understand it and the answer choices. Read it again if you aren't sure. Use the Refer to Article button to go back and reread the article and look for answers as needed, or even click back to your article tab. Here's the point. Don't just guess. You have everything you need to answer every question correctly. What I see is students reading a question, they're not sure, so they just take their best guess and move on. Don't do that. Figure out the answer. Finally, after you answer this reading poll again, you will be ready to do your thought question. Make sure you answer all the parts of the question that it's asking you. There may be multiple questions in that prompt. Again, use your refer to article button to go back and read the article and find the things that you need to find. Here's the bottom line. You're not going to become a better reader by just clicking through things and guessing. Put some effort in, and you won't believe how fast your Lexile will climb.